days.
From the nation's capital to cities across the country, communities are honoring those who paid the ultimate price for our freedoms. Just a short time ago, people in Cumberland County gathered for a special service at Freedom Memorial Park. Our Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Bays was there to honor the brave men and women who died on the battlefield. And Gilbert, I know you as a former Ranger qualified officer who served at Fort Bragg. I know this was a very moving event for you.
Well, Jeff, yes, it's always a moving event for me, but also for the countless Americans across this country who have had friends and family members who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in war. But it's also extra special for those of us who choose to live here in Fayetteville and Cumberland County because of our friends who proudly serve at Fort Bragg, soon to become Fort Liberty. Now, it did not rain here this morning during the ceremony, but the weather may have impacted the size of the crowd in attendance, but it did not dampen the spirit of those who came out to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. We had wreaths that were posted at monuments that remember the fallen at just about every war in which Americans fought and died. And just about anyone in this crowd could tell you a story about a loved one or a friend who served and why this day is extra special.
Especially guys and gals that's been deployed a lot, we look at it a little bit differently. We continually think about those guys and gals that we lost in combat every day. I mean, they're never far from our mind because those are our friends, our comrades.
Now, the fallen were honored with a gun salute and the rendering of taps, as you can hear. And those still unaccounted for during the war were remembered with the missing man table ceremony. And, while all this was going on, I was making my way around the Memorial Park here and just taking some pictures. I had a guy who came up to me and asked me, "Sir, do you know if the names on this Vietnam memorial are going to be read aloud?" And I told him I wasn't sure, and I asked him why. He said, "Well, I had an awful lot of friends who died in Vietnam." He said that with a lot of emotion, Jeff. He held his head down and he just walked away. Jeff and everybody listening, make sure you enjoy your day off. This is a day that you remember that freedom is not free.
Don't we know that? And Gilbert, thank you for your service.
We never want to forget the meaning behind this holiday. President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin took part in the annual Memorial Day tradition at Arlington National Cemetery. As part of the 155th National Memorial Day observance, President Biden delivered the address at Memorial Amphitheater. This is a live look at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where he took part in a wreath-laying ceremony earlier as well. This was Biden's third speech since taking office. There, Secretary Austin also delivered remarks.
Throughout the annals of history, our troops have fought for our democracy and, if necessary, died for it. Today, their service and sacrifice and that of their families, that goes far beyond those silent stones out there.
The first official Decoration Day was held at Arlington National Cemetery on May 30th, 1868, following the Civil War. The holiday became officially known as Memorial Day in 1971.
There are many events happening today in our area to honor service members who made the supreme sacrifice. Here's a look at just a few of them. Raleigh Post 1 of the American Legion will hold a service at the Raleigh National Cemetery on Rock Quarry Road. That's at 2 p.m. The Raleigh Concert Band will start playing at 1:30 and play for 30 minutes prior to that service. Cary's Memorial Day Remembrance is at 2:30 this afternoon. That's at a special Field of Flags at Veterans Freedom Park. Parking is available at Cary Academy, and there will be a shuttle between the two locations. You can find a full list of Memorial Day ceremonies, events, and observances in the WRAL app and online at WRAL.com. Just go to our Out and About section.
On this Memorial Day, Goldsboro police say a man who was shot and killed during a store robbery was an Air Force veteran. Alex Thomas was the manager at the Family Dollar on Wayne Memorial Drive. That's where you find WRAL's Keenan Willard, who just spoke with Thomas's loved ones about how they'll remember him. Keenan.
Renee, we know this weekend, obviously, all about honoring those who gave the ultimate sacrifice and fought for our country. But how difficult when they're taken senselessly here at home after fighting those battles. Thomas's girlfriend tells me that this store and this community meant everything to him. And both she and the family are now trying to come to grips with this shocking and sudden loss. Goldsboro police say it happened here around 3:15 yesterday afternoon. Investigators say they were called to the store for an armed robbery and that a man had been shot. They found Thomas behind the counter where he'd been shot in the chest. He later died from his injuries at the hospital. Police arrested two men, 20-year-old Yiheim Fryar and 24-year-old Aaron Coppedge. They say both of them have been charged with murder and armed robbery and are being held without bond. Today, those who loved the victim tell me Alex Thomas was working to build something here after leaving the military, and they'll remember him as a confident and caring person who could do anything he set his mind to.
It's not fair what happened to him. He didn't deserve this. He had so much going. He was working so hard. It's just been a really long night.
You can see the emotion that she is and so many others in this community are struggling with today in the wake of this incident. Today, Thomas's family is sharing more about what comes next as they grieve this loss and go through this process. More on that ahead on the WRAL Evening News. Renee.
Heavy hearts in that community. Keaton Willard reporting live in Goldsboro. Cary police say speed was a factor in a crash that sent two people